Hi scholars, this is Miss Breeding here to help you all work through lesson 14. We are almost done with module 4, so it's almost time to say bye-bye to area and hello to fractions. So I just want you all to make sure you give yourselves a pat on the back for how hard you have been working. Area is not easy, and you all had to do the most difficult part of it on your own at home. So give yourselves a nice pat on the back for working so hard at home. So let's get through lesson 14. The top of your page should say lesson 14 application problem. And part A says break the shaded figure into two rectangles, then add to find the area of the shaded figure below. So you are going to break apart this shaded figure into two rectangles, and then you're going to find the total area. Okay, so I'm going to give you about take about 1 minute, pause the video, and go ahead and make your two rectangles and find the area of them. You may begin. Alright, so at this point you should have your rectangle split off. I am going to draw my rectangle, split it this way. So this part with the black outline is going to be my rectangle A, and this one here at the bottom, so this is going to be A, and this here is going to be B for me. I know the area of A is 2 square units, or 2 units, not square units, sorry, 2 units times 1, 2, 3 units, and that equals 6 square units. And B is going to be 2 units here on the side, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units, and we know 2 times 5 will give us 10 square units. So it says find the area of the shaded figure below. So since I split these two up, and then part A was 6 square units and part B was 10 square units, my total area, and we all should have the same total area, total area should equal 16 square units. Okay. It says subtract the area of the unshaded rectangle here. Subtract that area from the area of the large rectangle to check your answer in part A. Okay, so you're subtracting the area from the unshaded part from the area of the large rectangle to check your answer in part A. I am going to give you a couple of seconds, or about a minute, to complete part B. Go. So just to clarify, we know the total size or area of the rectangle is 1, 2, 3, 4 units here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units here. So that gives us a total of what? The total area of the entire rectangle is 20 square units. So now you're subtracting the area from the unshaded area of the unshaded rectangle from the area of the large rectangle to check your answer. Okay, so we're going to have, we know our total area is 20 square units. Okay, and we're going to subtract. You have to figure out what is this area here. What would that area be? and then you're going to subtract that from here, this 20 square units, the entire area, to check our answer to make sure the total area of the shaded part equals 16 square units. Take about 30 more seconds. Alright, so here for the unshaded region, you know that this side is 4 units. So here we already have 2. How many units are missing here? 2. That's correct. And we know for the width, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. We already have 3. So what's missing here? That's right, 2. So the total area for this unshaded region is 4 units. Okay, so we're going to subtract. We have the total area, which is 20 square units, and we want to subtract the area from the unshaded rectangle here, 4 units. And what is 20 minus 4? That's right, 16 square units. And does this answer match our answer here? Yes, it does. 16 square units. Okay, so what we did here, we took the total area of the entire rectangle and subtracted this unshaded area to figure out what's the area of this figure left, well, part A and B put together, which was 16 square units. So we did 20 minus 4, which gives us 16, which is the shaded area that's left. Okay, if you have any questions, please make sure that you first go back and visit lesson 13. And if you still have any questions, please feel free to write those down. Moving on to our problem set. Looking at this, it may seem a little bit difficult, but Miss Breeding is here to support. All right, number 1. It says find the area of each of the following figures. All figures are made up of rectangles. Okay, so you want to find the area for all of the following features. So let's go ahead and label this A and label this B. Okay, so let's figure out A. We know that this side length is 2 centimeters. So A equals 2 centimeters times, they did not give us the area, I'm sorry, the length or the width of this rectangle. So we have to use what we have here at the bottom, where we're going to have to take a little bit of an extra step to figure it out. So we have 3 centimeters plus 2 centimeters, which equals this entire width. What's 3 plus 2? 6. So this width is 6 centimeters. Okay, so all we did was we went down here, and they already had the width of this entire shape down here, so we just had to add these two parts together to figure out what the width was up here. So now we have 2 centimeters times 6 centimeters, which equals 12 square centimeters. Okay, if you have a question about that, go ahead and write that down. Next, we have part B. Go ahead and see if you can figure out part B, the area of rectangle B. Okay, B, we know this side is 3 centimeters here, and they block this part off to where we know that it is 3 centimeters there too. So B is 3 centimeters times 3 centimeters, which equals 9 square centimeters. Okay. All right, let's move on to part B. So this one is where we have to take a little bit of an extra step because there's only one figure, but we still have this shape here that kind of cuts into it. Because if this was an entire rectangle, we would just do 4 times 3, that would be 12. But we cannot do that because there's an unshaded region or unshaded part here. So we know that one side is 4. Okay. We also know that this side, 2 plus 1 is 3. This side here, however, is a little bit different. I want you to take a couple of seconds to figure out if you can determine what the measurement for this side is. If this side and this side have to be the same, and this side have to be the same. We already know that this is 3 and this other side is complete, so we can put 3 centimeters here. But this side is 4, but it's also incomplete. So tell me what you believe this side is. Go ahead and take a couple of seconds. Okay, so what did you get this side to be? If this side is 4 and we have 2 here, 2 meters here, you should have gotten 2 meters for this side. Okay, so this area that's missing is 2 meters. Okay. Excuse me. So now, do we know the total area of this figure? We do. If this was an entire rectangle, the area would be 3 times 4, 3 meters times 4 meters, which equals what would equal 12 meters. But we are missing 2 meters here. So what are we going to do? If this was an entire rectangle, it would be 3 times 4 because the completed sides are 4 here and 3 here. That would be 12. But we're missing 2 meters here because that part is unshaded. We know that this meter and this meter makes 2 meters, but if it were equal to this side, it would be 4. So this area is 2 meters that's missing. So we would take 12 minus what? 2, which equals 10 meters. So the entire region, or this entire shaded area, is 10 square meters. Okay. And just as a review to ensure that you understand, this side is 4. So this side has to equal 4, but this side is incomplete. And so we know we have 1 meter here and 1 meter here. That's 2 meters on this side. But this part is not shaded. So this is missing 2 meters. So when we find the total area, it's 12. 4 times 3 is 12. But we have to subtract this 2 meters because it is not part of the shaded area or the shaded region. Okay. Let's move on to part 2. Part 2 is a little bit tricky. I am going to give you about a minute to look through it to see if you can figure out what you think you should do. All right, scholars. So I'm going to walk you through how to solve number 2. I know it's a little bit tricky, but we can figure this out. So remember, we always want to start off knowing the total area, always. So not even looking on the inside, looking at our side lengths, we have 5 meters times 6 meters, which equals, wait, how many meters? 30 meters. Okay, 5 times 6 is 30. So it says it wants us to find the shaded part of the figure. Let me show you how simple this is. So we know that we have to figure out the area of the shaded figure. So we cannot include this box here. So we cannot say 30 is the area for this shape. So this is what we're going to do. We know that the length of the entire figure has to be 5 meters. Check this out. If the length has to be 5 meters, we have 2 meters here and 1 meter here. That's 3 meters in length. So this area, or this unshaded part, is taking up how many meters of our length? If we have 3, how many meters are left over? 2. Okay, so this length of this unshaded area is 2 meters, because we have 2 plus 1 meter here, that's 3, and we need 5 for the total area. So we're going to subtract 5 minus 3, that leaves us with 2. So the length of this unshaded area is 2 meters. Now we have to do the same thing with the width. We know the entire width of this shaded, or the figure, the entire rectangle is 6 meters. Let's look at the amount of meters that is in the shaded area. We're supposed to have 6. We have 2 here and 1 here, so that's 3. So 6 minus 3, the width is going to be 3 meters. Okay, so now we can subtract. We know our total amount of meters for the entire rectangle was 30 meters. We are going to subtract the length, which was 2 meters. So 30 meters minus 2 meters equals 28 meters. And then we also have to subtract this missing part of the width, which is 3 meters. So 28 meters minus 3 meters equals 25 meters. Okay, go ahead and take a second to look over that. All right, so the next section is 2-word problems. I am going to give you about 5 minutes for you to solve these 2-word problems. I will read numbers 3 and 4 to you. Number 3, a paper rectangle has a length of 6 inches and a width of 8 inches. So you know you will need to go ahead and draw that rectangle. A square with a side length of 3 inches was cut out of it. What is the area of the remaining paper? Number 4, Tila and Evan both have paper rectangles measuring 6 centimeters by 9 centimeters. Tila cuts a 3 centimeter by 4 centimeter rectangle out of hers, and Evan cuts a 2 centimeter by 6 centimeter rectangle out of his. Tila says she has more paper left over. Evan says they have the same amount. Who is correct? Show your work below. So go ahead and take some time to complete numbers 3 and 4. All right, scholars. So let's look at number 3. It says a paper rectangle has a length of 6 inches and a width of 8 inches. So I know I need to draw my rectangle. It has a length, meaning long, up and down, of 6 inches, and a width, meaning how wide it is, of 8 inches. A square with a side length of 3 inches was cut out of it. Okay, so this is our square that was cut out. A very important thing that you had to remember in order to solve this successfully is that a square has the same length and width. So if the length is 3 inches, the width is also 3 inches. Okay, so let's figure out what is the total area of this square. If it has a length of 3 and a width of 3. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. 9 inches. Okay. So the first thing we have to do is find the total area, where 6 times 8 equals 6 inches times 8 inches equals 48 inches. Minus how many inches? 9 inches. Go ahead and solve 48 minus 9. Okay, let's make this 18, this 8 and 18, borrow from this 4, which makes that a 3. 18 minus 9 equals 9. Bring down your 3, 39 square inches. Okay, that's the total area of remaining area of this paper. Okay, let's go to number 4. Tila and Evan both have paper rectangles, so we need two, measuring 6 centimeters by 9 centimeters. So we have Tila, she has her rectangle, 6 centimeters by 9 centimeters, and so does Evan. His looks exactly the same. 6 centimeters by 9 centimeters. Don't worry if your rectangle is not perfect. Ms. Breeden's is not perfect either. Okay. Next, it says Tila cuts a 3 centimeter by 4 centimeter rectangle out. 3 centimeter by 4 centimeter. Cuts that out. Okay. And then Evan cuts a 2 centimeter by 6 centimeter rectangle out of his. So his is 2 centimeter by 6 centimeter rectangle out. Okay. So we now have to figure out how much each person has left over. So the total area for each, 6 times 9, 6 centimeters times 9 centimeters equals 54 centimeters. So they both start out with 54 centimeters. Okay. So we have to find the total area of each of their rectangles that they cut out. Tila has 3 times 4 centimeters, which is 12 centimeters. And Evan has 6 times 2 centimeters, which also equals 12 centimeters. So they both are solving 54 minus 12. 54 centimeters minus 12 centimeters. Go ahead and solve that. All right, the answer you should have, 4 minus 2 is 2. 5 minus 1 is 4. Same over here, 4 minus 2 is 2. 5 minus 1 is 4. Bring down your unit. So, let's see if we can answer the question. Tila says she has more paper left over. Evan says they have the same amount. Who is correct? Well, it looks like they both started out with 54 square centimeters. Sorry, I forgot. Square centimeters, and had to subtract 12 square centimeters, and they all ended up with, or they both ended up with 42 square centimeters. So it looks like Evan is correct. Okay. Now, before we move on to our exit ticket, Ms. Breeden made one small error in number 2, and she wanted you all to bring it to your attention. So, when we figured out the length and width of this unshaded rectangle, what we should have multiplied the length and width, which would have been 6. Instead, Ms. Breeden made the mistake of adding. Okay, so that changes the answer. So let's go back to the total area. Here was 30. We're going to get rid of this. Going back to our total area was 30 meters. And our unshaded area was 6 meters, which we're going to subtract. 30 minus 6 would give us 24 square meters as this shaded region. Okay, Ms. Breeden made a mistake by subtracting 2, then subtracting 3, where I should have found the total area of this unshaded region and subtracted it from the total area of the shaded region. Okay. Next, your exit ticket, where you will complete on your own, no help from your parents or siblings. Okay, so, or family members. It says Mary draws an 8 centimeter by 6 centimeter rectangle on her grid paper. So you already know what you need to do for that first part. She shades a square with the side length of 4 centimeters inside her rectangle. What area of the rectangle is left unshaded? That is exactly how we have solved numbers 3 and 4. Okay, so if you're confused on your exit ticket, go back and look at numbers 3 and 4 and how you solve them. Okay, good luck, and I will see you next lesson.